And here we are.
Another week.
Another week, another lockdown.
Let's do it. Well, we're technically not in lockdown.
Yeah, well, not us, but the planet.
That's true. It's going to be a few more years like this. Anyhow, welcome guys to another episode of Charlie and Ponyo.
Hi.
That's Charlie and I'm Ponyo.
What a great way to start the podcast. Such positivity from us. But
I'm not feeling positive at all.
I think it's the sentiment around the world, really.
Oh, nothing positive about this Monday.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's Monday. It's raining.
Yeah.
We're still at home. And I have my fucking period.
Oh.
Yeah. We're talking about it.
Yeah. The unspoken.
Why is it so unspoken? I mean, it's normal. It's a human body. This is what...
So this is what happens when you bring it up.
What do you mean?
I wasn't meaning anything by that. I'm saying that right into the microphone now so that everyone knows. It is a part of life, way of life.
I think the opposite sex, i.e. male, you guys get your period once a month as well. Yes, you do. You guys have this thing where once a month you're arc up as well.
Oh, yeah, probably. It has to do with lunar cycles.
Oh, you want to break it down, the science?
Oh, I'm just saying. Yeah, that's what I read on some weird website years ago, and I always believed it, so it is what it is.
But you know what? In a good way, just trying to flip things around. At least I'm not pregnant.
So how do you are you deep diving into this?
What?
How does it go? How you going? You good?
I'm just starting. I'm at the
1 to 10?
beginning of the cycle.
Ooh.
Beginning of the cycle, I just feel fat, bloated, disgusted, hungry.
Oh, all at the same time?
Yeah, I just want to
Or do
eat
you get
everything.
through phases?
Yeah, so that's the beginning. Then day 2, it's like I've been stabbed 1,000 times. And all I want to do is go up and
To the
not
fetal position and just...
rock myself back and forth and go, why? Why am I born a female? Why couldn't I have a freaking penis? I'm coming back in the next life as a boy so I can stand and pee.
Hey, you can do that as a chick.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, you can.
You cannot.
No, I've seen chicks do it.
Yeah, but not aiming properly. Not that guys can aim.
No, it ain't about
better.
aiming. You just have to cock an angle.
Cock and
You get it? Cock an angle. Put a foot up or something. It's
Is that too much information about my period?
yeah, as long as you're still alive
I'm still
to
alive.
have periods, you're in a good place.
Correct. Anyway, moving along. How are you, Charlie?
Yeah, pretty good. I don't have my period yet.
Yet.
Yeah, no, just waiting for the lunar cycle to go full moon. My man period aligns with the full moon.
Do you think, okay, putting the period aside, do you really think that our behaviour is I guess, there's a correlation between our behaviour and the lunar cycle?
Yeah, I think so.
Because there's a research that's been done previously. I don't know when I should fact
check this.
Yes. Anyhow, dear listeners, you can do this. They talk about inmates, how they will look at the lunar cycle and predict if there's going to be riots or they're going to be misbehaved or there's an increase. There's a correlation. So usually with a full moon, that's when batshit crazy inmates, female and males, would go crazy inside the correctional centres.
And there was a couple of studies of even just about drunken violence or just even I think the police did one where they did a study on the amount of call-outs, and a lot of them happen in the higher end of the lunar cycle. Which is an interesting thing to talk about. We probably won't deep dive in it to this degree, but we we live on a planet that's polarized, and so I'm not saying like Black Lives Matter or or the Karens of the world. Fuck Karen. But we've got a magnetic north and south, and even as human beings, we're magnetic. So we've got a north and a south, and we are locked into the evolution that we've. This is my thoughts on it. But we're locked into an evolutionary tidal pattern that it comes and goes just like the shores of a sea when that crashes on the beaches and stuff like that.
Look at you.
Sometimes you have a high tide and sometimes you have a low tide, and that's just the nature of the planet that we live on, and everything can sort of goes out from that sort of perspective. I don't know. I've always seen it that way.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm full of them.
Even with the Asian culture, some Asian culture, they would their calendar would be based on the lunar. Hence why we have, for example, the Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
Not like the Western calendar.
Yeah, 100%. But even the moon's just like weird thing.
Oh, the beautiful thing.
The moon is one of the only things. When they've studied our solar system, it's the only satellite object that goes around a planet. So you've got the Earth, and then you've got the moon that rolls around, but it's on a thing called tidal lock. So it's at the perfect distance from the Earth that we only ever see it at one specific place every time it rotates.
So we only see it in other words.
We only see one side of the moon every
So-
time the Earth rotates.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can still see the far side of the moon, but when the Earth rotates, and then when what Earth is looking at into the moon, it's
one
always
side.
the same side.
So are there any photos of proof on the other side of the moon? There could be a whole bunch of people, aliens hanging out on the other side, living it up.
Yeah, all my buddies are over there. I'm going to go over there soon. But no, but like just from a scientific perspective, that's an interesting thing because it's not happened. It's not been verified anywhere else. So you've got a tidal lock. You've got a satellite object that helps the Earth grow, and so that's why you get waves and you get a whole bunch of different things that happen on the Earth because it's at the right Goldilocks distance between
An angle.
between the two that it just makes things happen. And so if we didn't have, if for example, if that wasn't the case, we wouldn't have waves. And waves, people say trees drive oxygen, but really 2/3 of the world's oxygen, probably fact check me on that, but the majority of Earth's oxygen comes from tidal waves and the crashing of the beaches onto the waves that
How does that work? No way.
No, for reals. And so
I should have listened to my science teacher back in high school.
yeah, he's probably a hottie.
He
know what
was
he's talking
nerdy. He was a nerdy one.
Oh, yeah,
I should have paid more attention.
They're always the
I do remember his
they're always
name.
the sugar daddies.
No, it was old. Go ahead.
Yeah, but we don't have any other planet that's like that they've tried to find. Even in our solar system, they're always it just doesn't work that way. And so you've got the right, and so they say is that creates the right climate. If you have that right distance and the right factors, that creates life. And so that's why we've got water, because of our moon. And if we didn't have our moon, we'd be fucked. But then I remember hearing, I'll deep dive into a conspiracy, is that they think the moon was never really there for a while. So it just rocked up like the Death Star in Star Wars. It wasn't there. And so they were talking about it's like 50,000 years ago, there was no moon. And then all of a sudden, the moon just came into place and it locked in, and then it helped drive human civilization to flourish.
Oh, look at that. Learning something new every single day.
They did a study once upon a time where there's a hollow Earth theory, hollow moon, where they tried to smash a whole bunch of things into the moon, and because of the resonance and the seismic resonance, it's rung like a bell, and so they thought it was hollow, and there was just something just sitting in the inside.
Like a caramel. Easter egg with caramel on the
like
inside.
a Kinder Surprise. Like, it's just like a shell, and then inside there's like something in there, and it's like a little surprise for you.
Damn.
Yeah.
So they talked about, so the moon, you're saying the moon's an important part of this universe. What about bees? Bees
Oh, yeah.
are an integral part of our world.
Yeah.
But the problem is, bees are dying
Yeah.
at a very fast rate.
Yeah.
And without bees, we're also fucked.
Yeah, we're heaps screwed without bees. Bees are like the integral part of the puzzle piece.
Absolutely. I never knew how important bees were.
Yeah, yeah. They transfer the pollen from plants to other plants.
What's that movie, Transporter?
Oh, yeah. Jason Statham.
That's the bees.
Yeah, just less bald.
And cuter.
Oh.
Well, what's her name? Nicole Richie. She's a big advocate for bees.
I am too.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are. And I just...
You're going into a lot of subjects here, but I think that leads on to like a whole magnetic
Yes.
5G, like maybe not necessarily 5G, but just the whole magnetic thing that's going on in the world where they're changing the magnetosphere and...
Wait, are you talking about the angle of the planet? Because if we're either... We can't be fixed in this angle, whatever angle we are at, forever. So if we move slightly, whether it's a 0.1 degree, that could make a big difference for the environment.
Oh, 100%.
And for human race as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm more coming from like a place where they put a whole bunch of towers up.
Yes.
So that we can get cell phone broadcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they've got so much of that shit up that it messes with the...
Yes.
Like, you know how like you've got birds that they know how to fly north to south during migrating season, and bees know where true north... So there's this... Bees always know where like true north is and stuff like that. So that's like their compass. If you know where true north is, you know where everywhere else is. But then when they did a study where if you mess with people's understanding of when true north is, like not people, animals, it ruins their mating habits and the cycles of their life, and then that has a huge impact, especially when bees don't live that long. Like the generations of bees from year to year, it causes a massive effect from 1 year to the 10th year. And I think that's probably what's happening. But I'm no scientist, but...
I've changed my mind. I don't want to come back as a boy in my next life.
Why?
I'm coming back as a
It's
queen.
awesome.
I'm coming back as a queen bee.
Queen bee?
Yep. Not Beyonce. I'm going to save the world. I want to have my own crew of bees working for me in a massive hive. Yep. Make it
But
right.
this owns its own... This owns its own subject in a podcast. But anyway.
Of course. That's a major topic.
Yeah, I was going to get into it. But,
It'll be interesting to hear what our dear listeners from around the world, what their thoughts are as well. I think it's a subject that a lot of people would need to be more educated on, especially in this period that we're going through.
You got nothing but time to sit at home and just like...
Learn, but also to make perhaps, I know this sounds corny, but to make the world a better place.
Ooh.
For you and for me and the entire human race.
Oh.
There are people dying.
Oh, jeez. I didn't realise... I knew you were going to get deep, but I didn't realise you were going to get Michael Jackson deep.
Can't afford to play his music, so I just read it out loud.
Yeah, we'll get banned for that.
Bloody Spotify. Anyhow.
So...
What else?
Let's put it out there.
Yeah.
Being a shitty co-worker continued. So we did talk about this a while ago.
What part are we up to?
The shitty part.
Chapter 10,001.
Thoughts, discuss.
Discuss. Let it roll. Man.
Would you like me to kick one off?
You go. Keep in mind, change the names if we need to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. the
Go on.
I think for me,
You got your beer in your hand. It's serious, man.
yeah, just reflecting back on my life. I'm not even talking about the place that I even work in now,
Yeah.
but just across the time scale of your working life.
Yeah.
You go to you wake up and you get birthed out of a vagina, and you have to go through certain hoops and school and learning, and then you get spat out the other end, even though you probably haven't been taught the right things that you probably should have to gain life skills
Absolutely.
in school. And so you start fending for yourself, and you're going through some of the motions, and you're learning a lot of things. And one of the things that they don't really teach you, or that you don't really learn about until you come across it, is dealing with shitty co-workers. Or even going inception on that is, how do you know that you are that shitty co-worker? But let's backtrack a bit. Yeah. We'll go back to working with shitty co-workers. I just always thought that, like, one of the main things, especially about being a shitty co-worker, is your inability to communicate. You could write a book on this.
Definitely.
And that goes in through to, like, passive aggressive styles of communication with people that you are friends with, that are in your peer group that you're talking to.
Yeah.
And it should be all, like, copacetic and nice, and you have to deal with the challenges together, but then sometimes
they throw you under the bus.
Oh yeah. Or they don't have the ability to do the function or the tasks required for them, and they start playing blame games and pointing the finger.
Or become a bit dramatic.
It's an understatement.
So you're right. We can break it into different categories.
I could write a book on this.
Oh hell yeah! So we've got people who are a bit over dramatic, not a bit overly dramatic. People who the inability to communicate.
People that can't follow through with their actions.
Yes, that's a good one.
Oh, I could keep going. Oh, friggin' keeping your word.
Yes.
Keeping to your word, staying to your word.
Yes. What else?
Well, and that probably leads to the crux of it, is just like dishonesty and the ability to work well with others.
Yes. And people, and that just shows that they're absolutely two-faced. Because they're really in it just to play the game.
Yeah.
And
well, I'd like to break that down a little bit more. I think people that have a failure to communicate, I think there's something intrinsically broken in them to be able to not formulate a truthful, coherent sentence.
But maybe that's where I'm just trying to be the devil advocate. Maybe that's where you as in the other person, need to mirror how they prefer a communication method would be. Because sometimes you are right. People are not able to verbally say things properly.
Okay.
So maybe their best mode of communication would be like email, for example, or they need to. They may be more comfortable in a one-on-one setting. So, and it goes back to when we've talked about this, potentially just trying to understand their characteristic, the personality.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, they should be able to be agile and be adaptable.
Oh, 100%. That's exactly what I was going to say, is that...
To meet halfway.
Yeah. Communication is a two-way street. It's not a one-way street.
Definitely.
And you always need to have a middle ground or attempt to try and find, no matter what the means, whether it's email, whether it's shouting at each other, or having a civil conversation and a polite disagreement about something and challenging each other's perspectives.
Yeah.
It's always I think that will probably solve a lot of the other things on the list that we were talking about,
Being
like
accountable for it.
accountability.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
My technique for this, and it worked most of the time, is whether if you have a phone conversation with them or you are in a group meeting, and if nothing is written down, you follow up with an email. So it's in an email. So, dear Karen, as per our conversation, this is what was agreed on, so and so and so and so. So that way,
Karen wouldn't like that, by the way. I just heard her over the loudspeaker.
but it's an email form, so if anything comes up, you've got that as your proof.
Yeah, 100%. I have always been a firm believer of action speaks louder than words, especially in regards to like communication and like you said, like accountability goes a long way, especially after you've communicated, because it's almost like you have like a 4-step action plan of going, okay, so you've communicated the problem, what's the problem solution, let's circle back, let's change direction if we need to, and then let's go back and see if we need to fix any problems again, and then we can just come out at the end of it with a actual solution. And a lot of people get to a couple of those
really
points
good
and
point.
they don't have the ability to be able to follow through, or they don't have the honesty within themselves to be able to keep their word, and there's dishonesty is too hard a word. It's more like they make the things a bit more malleable, and they make it more melty than it needs to be.
Yeah,
Melty.
definitely.
Yeah, that's how I describe it. Change dishonesty to melty.
But you know what I'm a big believer as well?
Yeah.
With all of this?
What's that?
Karma. So how they behave, they're going to get that treatment somehow in return from someone else.
Yeah.
So how you look after people, how you communicate with people, that's going to reciprocate one way or another.
Oh, true that. I think we even said it before, is that the people that you step on the ladder to go up are the same people that you'll see on the ladder on the way back down.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Karma's a bitch and her name is Karen.
Hell yeah.
Right, Karen?
No, that's a really good point. I think we've all experienced that.
Yeah.
With
Not even just in your work life, just in your personal life. There's so many people like that. It hurts my bum hole. It's like a shit fart that just keeps on giving.
And you know what I do with those people?
Yeah.
I either unfriend them or just don't associate with them. Remove them from your circle.
Yes.
It's not that hard.
Yes.
Take them out of the circle, and that's one less, I guess,
Yes.
soul-sucking energy that you leech, that you don't have to deal with anymore.
Oh. If I was Oprah Winfrey right now, I'd be clapping in the choir. Although she likes Harvey Weinstein, so whatever. But yeah, you preach it to the choir, man. Friggin' energy suckers, energy vampires.
Done.
They can fuck right off just like right next to Karen.
Yep. Delete them.
Karen and Kevin.
That's
both
it.
of yous.
Life's too short.
Life's way too short.
Just don't deal with that. I don't have time or energy to deal with people who are going to rip my soul in half or to throw me under the bus or, no, I just don't have time for that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Next, please.
The Rental.
Ooh, we're doing movie review.
We are. What do you think? We watched a movie called The Rental. Directed by Dave Franco.
The younger brother of James.
Franco. He's in Bad Neighbours. That's one of my... I love that movie.
Do you?
Yeah.
I didn't realise about Franco's. How many brothers do they have?
I don't know. Couple.
Anyhow, Dave and James, both very talented.
Yeah.
James especially.
Synopsis.
So, He apparently, James, would lecture at different universities as well.
Oh yeah, he's got degrees in degrees.
Yeah, he's a smart cookie man.
Yeah.
So the rental.
But wasn't he in a lift with Amber Heard? Like going up to Amber Heard's, to Johnny Depp's penthouse apartment, like to bang her while they were still married.
I don't know, babe.
Yeah, I seen it.
I don't care. He's
seen
just
it.
a talented person. That's it.
Oh yeah, but he was banging Amber Heard while she was still married. So
Oh my god.
look, I do like him. I always like James Franco.
And Dave,
But
he's pretty good too. So
well,
the
mate,
rental.
Dave.
It's about a group of friends, two couples.
Yeah.
They book out this Airbnb
An Aaron B.
Airbnb place
Airbnb.
for the weekend, and things go slightly.
Batshit sideways real quick. Oh, not real quick, but yeah.
No spoilers.
No.
What do you think of it? Oh,
Jinx.
make a wish. My wish is done.
I liked it. It was it had the same horror, suspense, thriller, psychological tropes in there, and you kind of knew, like for me, I knew where the beats were going to hit, but it was still really good to see a fresh take
Yes.
on it, especially the way it ended and like the
Yes, the ending. Yes.
I don't want to say twists,
No.
but just the way it ended, it was good.
Out of 5?
I'd probably say 4.
Same. 3.5, 4.
Oh, salty.
No, not salty.
I thought
That's
you liked it
good.
more.
That's good.
You liked it?
Oh, I was going to say, what else I was going to say? Oh, I forgot now. Bloody hell. Think. I don't remember.
You got all the time in the world, babes, to think about it next podcast.
No, it was really good. Good movie. Oh man, wish I could remember.
Cool.
Cool story, bro.
Cool way to end the podcast.
Anyhow, what? We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
That was super fast.
Hey, time flies when you're talking shit.
Till next week, be good, be kind, and be safe. Take care.
Yeah, have a kick-ass week, all.